Rich Harden was one of the most dominant pitchers of the 2000s. From 2003 to 2011, there wasn't a pitcher in all of baseball who started at least 160 games with a higher strikeout per 9 than him. He was supposed to be the next big thing in Oakland after Hudson, Mulder, and Zito, but ended up just another footnote in baseball history. It's easy to dismiss Rich Harden as just another hard thrower who was bound to get hurt, and did. Too bad you'd be wrong.
Damn!
Sure, he did only start more than 30 games in a season once, and he was a flamethrower. But Rich Harden is so much more than that. Did you realize that at his peak, one team even traded a future MVP for him? And that was after he was forced to revamp his entire delivery in order to pitch through injury.
But wait, there's more.
Or that his fastball wasn't even his best pitch. In 2005, his split finger pitch was so good that it was dubbed the ghost pitch by slugger Richie Sexson. That's 8 years before Kodai Senga claims to have heard the term ghost fork, by the way.
Oh, now you can do math?
He's even a Canadian Hall of Famer, for cripe's sake. So what actually happened to Rich Harden? Why is he so much more than just another fireballer who got hurt? Welcome to GV Sports Media. Please consider subscribing if you haven't. I appreciate each and every one of you legends. Now let's get into some good vibes, shall we? Drafted in the 17th round of the 2000 draft by the A's, Rich Harden happened to be next in line of the in-house pitchers fueling those Moneyball teams of the early 2000s. He was labeled as one of the best pitching prospects by experts moving into the 2003 season on the back of some great strikeout numbers and his dominating pitch arsenal, including that aforementioned split finger. But for someone who is considered a major what-if due to the amount of arm, shoulder, and back injuries, not a single injury concern in his scouting reports, nor any major injury in the minors.
I was not expecting that.
His injury history does have a wild twist that I'm not sure I've ever heard of happening before, so stick around for that. But outside of using him too much too soon, Harden was seen as a safe prospect health-wise, and his success is a big reason the A's developed their reputation on developing major league pitching. If he never pans out, maybe the likes of Trevor Cahill and Brett Anderson aren't given the same good faith in the following years. And speaking of that success, Rich Harden not only led all starters in overall Ks per 9 from 2003 to 2011, he ranked first in Ks per 9 amongst starters on every team he was on in 8 of his 9 years in the league, including leading both the A's and Cubs pitching staffs in Ks per 9 in 2008.
God damn, that's impressive.
For someone with his reputation, you'd think he had missed a full season at some point. Nope. He pitched at least a little bit in every year of his career, and when he did, he was nasty. He compiled a career B-WAR of 17.7, which might not seem like a lot, but it's actually just 1.8 wins less than Giants legend Tim Lincecum. And that is with 110 extra starts in Lincecum's favor. Again, when he pitched, Harden was dominant. In fact, he was so good in 2008 that the Chicago Cubs traded a package that included future AL MVP Josh Donaldson to the A's for Harden prior to the deadline.
Nice! MVP.
Harden even dominated with Chicago that second half too. Too bad the trade was in response to the Brewers trading for Hall of Famer CC Sabathia, who would go on to maybe have the best second half for a deadline acquisition ever. But Harden's 1.77 ERA, 11.3 Ks per 9, and 258 ERA plus in his 12 starts to finish 08 were phenomenal, and almost identical to his tremendous pre-deadline pitching line with the A's, which also included an immaculate inning.
He's immaculate.
Harden had his best season as a pro in 2008, And that is with his fastball losing a bit of life. But did you realize that his fastball wasn't even his best pitch? Kodai Senga arrived in New York in 2023 and took over the baseball world with his ghost fork. It's a pitch that he actually says is more of a split-finger fastball with how he grips and throws it, but no matter what you call it, it's devastating. Its sudden, unexpected drop causes hitters to think the pitch just disappears like a ghost.
Woo!
Kodai claims to have first heard the term 10 years prior to his arrival in 2023, so around 2013. Rich Harden was a flamethrower for his era. In 2004, his average fastball velocity was actually faster than anyone else's, including Randy Johnson's at 94.3 miles per hour, and his strikeout numbers also point to how dominating his stuff was. But Harden's fastball, as good as it was not his best pitch. That was actually his devastating split-finger fastball. Jason Kendall did refer to it as a forkball though, but Adam Melhuse, the A's backup catcher in 2005, dubbed it the Spluckle.
Come again?
Justifying it with the following. A splitter just drops straight down at the end. Rich's knuckles out of his hand and floats around and then drops. It's a splitter that knuckles. It's a Spluckle. But here's the kicker. When asked about Rich Harden's stuff in 2005, slugger Richie Sexson even went so far as to dub his split the ghost pitch.
He said it! He said it!
That's 8 years before Kodai claims to have heard the term, and 18 years before Senga debuted with the Mets. If social media was bigger back in 05, and Harden doesn't endure all of those injuries over the years, allowing him to post even better numbers, maybe he's the one remembered for his ghost pitch.
Hot damn!
But about those injuries, have you ever tried pitching with a blown out shoulder for 4 years? Johan Santana is one of the best lefties of the 2000s, and maybe ever. His changeup was a thing of lore, which made his fastball seem that much faster. His career was essentially killed, though, after tearing the shoulder capsule in his throwing arm for the second time in 2013 and needing surgery again.
Life is cruel.
Rich Harden also tore the shoulder capsule in his throwing arm. He also needed surgery. He just waited over 4 years, pitching through it from 2007 to 2011. It did ultimately kill his career too. But seriously? That 2008 domination with the A's and Cubs, all done with a bum shoulder.
Isn't that wild?
What's even wilder is that he actually had to overhaul his delivery to compensate for the injury back in 2007, which then contributed to the back-end muscle injuries later in his career. Reflecting on his decision to finally go under the knife and miss the entire 2012 season, Harden talked about having to literally teach himself how to throw each outing later on in his career.
That's not normal, is it?
I've never heard of a major leaguer changing their delivery each start and having success. Pitching is typically all about consistency. Tough to be consistent when you're trying to compensate for a blown out shoulder, though. And of course, that's just the biggie. Harden and the then disabled list were well acquainted in his career. There's a big what if to Rich Harden's story, absolutely. But damn it, if he wasn't nasty when he pitched and left his mark on this game. So what happened to Rich Harden, you ask? Rich Harden happened to be one of the best pitchers in baseball from 2003 to 2011. Remember, Canadian Hall of Famer.
Which I'll admit is pretty cool.
He happened to be a strikeout king who had zero injury concerns coming up. Rich Harden happened to be the next in line for the A's pitching factory after the Moneyball Big Three and absolutely lived up to the hype initially. He happened to baffle hitters with a ghost split 18 years before Kodai Senga became all the rage. Sure, he also happened to get hurt, but instead of it ending his career, he happened to pitch for 4 years with a torn shoulder capsule, including an immaculate inning and his best season as a pro. That's what happened to Rich Harden. That's gonna do it for today, sports fans. Thanks so much for watching. What do you remember from Rich Harden's career? Did you learn something today? Let me know down in the comments. Please consider subscribing if you haven't. I do appreciate you either way. If you haven't checked out my other videos too, please take a gander. But again, I appreciate each and every one of you. But until next time, sports fans, cheers!